and welcome to this Excel how-to tutorial on using Excel's advanced autofilter functionality to filter a list for more than 2 criteria. This how-to tutorial is brought to you by using SpreadsheetSmarter.com, the practical how-to videos and tips designed to give working professionals who use Excel a lot an extra edge in doing their day-to-day tasks. In this brief tutorial, we're going to look at what the problem is, why we might need to use an advanced autofilter functionality. We're then going to look at setting up the custom filter and then applying that filter to filter our data. And finally, we'll just have the opportunity to provide some feedback on the video and for you to reflect on what works and what doesn't. Okay, so to start off, we're going to have a look at what the issue is and why we might need to use an advanced filter in Excel. So in this tab here, I have the data which I wish to filter. I have a list of 50 items with an item number in column A and an item description in column B. And I wish to filter this list of items for, say, 10 particular items. And I have a list of those items on my second tab here in custom filter. So I wish to filter it for item 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Now, within this data set, I can apply an auto filter for it. From data tab, if I click on filter, then this list is now filtered with drop-down boxes next to each column heading. And if I click on the drop-down box, go to text filters and equals, I can then say which ones I wish to filter for. So I could select in here, I wish to select item 2, or it should be equal to item 4. And that will then give me both item 2 and item 4. But the problem with this is that I can't do more than 2 here. I can only do up to 2 items here. So I actually wish to filter this list for about 10 different items. So this doesn't really work. And also I can't link this in to a second tab. I can't link this into a formula anywhere. So on the manual way to do this would be in Excel 2007 onwards at least, there's tick boxes which I could go in and I can manually select or deselect according to the items that I want. But of course that's quite manual and prone to error. An alternative would be to use a lookup column. So I could create another column in here and say for each item, is it in the list in the second tab? So does it find a match for this item in this list here? If it does, then return yes. If it doesn't, then return no. And then I could filter for the yes or no's in my lookup column. If you're interested in that method, please have a look at the Excel how-to tutorial video on comparing lists. But what we're going to run through here is I'm going to show you how to achieve the same thing by using an advanced autofilter functionality within Excel. So the first step in doing this is to set up our custom filter. So in the second tab here, we have a list of all the items which we wish to filter for. So 2, 4, 6, 8, so on. And I've put that into a column and called it filter 4. Now, our filter criteria is what we're going to set up in a second column. And the column heading of this has to be exactly the same as the item which we wish to filter for. So in our data list. So here we wish to filter for item number. So this has to be called item number here. So I'm just going to copy and paste item number from there and put it into here. Now I want to create a criteria. So a criteria that Excel will recognize will be something preceded by an operator. So for example, an equal sign, a greater than, less than. So in this case, I wish to say I want to have the operator equals because I want to filter for the exact item, item 2. If it was a number that I was filtering for and I was looking in columns, I could use a different operator. But here we want to use the operator equals. So obviously equals is also used as an Excel formula. So to tell Excel that I actually want to have the equals sign as a text rather than as part of my formula, I have to insert the equal sign into inverted commas. So if I do equals and then I open up the speech marks or inverted commas, do equals and then close speech marks, now that equals sign will come as text. I then want to say I want to have the equals sign plus whatever I have in column A. So I do this by using the ampersand, and the ampersand is a way to link in to another cell in Excel, for example. So I do ampersand, A2, press enter, and now it says equals item 2, which is exactly what I want. And now if I drag this down all the way, then I have equals item 2, equals item 4, equals item 6, and so on. Now this will be the criteria that we can then filter for in our advanced filter, which we'll have a look next. Okay, so now that we have our filter set up in the custom filter tab, we want to use this to filter the data in our data to filter tab. So if we go back here, we now want to use the advanced filter functionality, which in Excel 2007 and 2010 is in the data ribbon under sorted filter. And you see there it says advanced. So this is what we use to do normal filters and to give us the drop down next to the column headings, and this is what we do to use an advanced filter. So if we click advanced, now it's got two options here: filter the list in place or copy to another location, and it's given us our list range of our data. Now this should usually pick it up correctly, and it has in this case, as my range is picked up as A1 to B51. If this is wrong, we could go in and change this. Now, criteria range, and this is what we want to use the criteria column that we've just built. So if we now, in clicking into this box, go into the custom filter tab and select the custom filter we've created with our operators preceded by our items, and we select that column, making sure we include the heading, so in this case cell B1, and that heading is the same as we've got in our data list. And we click OK, you'll now see that in our data to filter tab, our data has now been filtered by those items. Just have another look at that. If we click on advanced, and we've got filter list in place or copy to another location, here we want to filter the list in place. Our list range is our full set of data. Our criteria range is what we set up using the custom filter. So equals with all of our items. Press OK, and it filters the list.